Decode, disrupt, deliver. The art and science of problem-solving playbook. Ambiguity breeds apprehension. Maybe we cannot stand it, it could be unjust, that we need to worry to reduce uncertainty, or equate ambiguity with negative outcomes. We realize that the world around us is unavoidable and chaotic. It is worth examining our conviction about ambiguity. Perception of ambiguity can lead to productive problem solving. When it comes to things we have at least some control over, we can productively engage in problem solving and planning, like daily household and work-life routines. However, as we repetitively think about things we cannot control and go down the what-if rabbit hole, we only end up feeling exhausted and helpless while gradually losing trust in the God Almighty. Stephen Covey says, "Our behavior is a function of our decisions, not our conditions." When our feeling is overwhelmed by anxiety, which is future-oriented, it helps to focus on the problems which is right in front of us. Stephen Covey highlights this state as an overlapping zone between our circle of influence, i.e. your morning routine, your strength and capabilities, and our circle of concern, i.e. our health, our children, problems at work and our liabilities. The human mind is a problem-solving machine. You may not realize it, but as you walk through the world, you are solving problems every second. Some problems lead us to perplexity. For example, something did not work as it should and you do not know how or why. Something you need is unavailable, and something to be found to take its place. In comparison, complex problems such as poverty, obesity, and climate change are the result of an intricate web of superimposing factors, makes it not only difficult to pinpoint the root cause of a problem, but even more difficult to devise ways to solve the problem. Critical roadblocks to problem thinking. Can psychology help us to become better problem solvers and decision makers? 1. Perspectives cause potential solutions to be ignored as unworkable based on our beliefs, attitudes and opinions makes us see the world in different ways. 2. Fear and emotions stop us to solve problems accurately. 3. Fear of failure could be a lack of skills in evaluation or research. 4. Warring emotions may emanate due to our culture, which expects us to behave stereotyped, thus, leads to misinterpretation and miscommunication. 5. Assumptions may create a false impression that prescribed benefits supersedes potential benefits. 6. Further, we fall under the trap of numerous logical fallacies such as information asymmetry, generalization and our resistance to change. Mental bias, for e.g. confirmation bias, arises when the approach taken is to confirm a preconceived solution like a rule of thumb or common sense as a way to solve a problem. Everything happens twice in the world, mental and physical. This holds true for problem solving, where people go through a cycle of problem discovery, the importance of urgency to solve, the decision to tackle the issue, define the nature of the problem, research on the available options, and take actions to achieve appropriate resolution. There's no use talking about the problem unless you talk about the solution. Betty Williams. Problem solving is similar to strategy execution, where we move from a current state to a goal state, through barriers. Generally, problem solving has two approaches, i.e. either start with the result and do backward planning steps to the current situation, or solve a problem using a linear, incremental approach. Many problem solving strategies work on identification and framing of the problem. It is better to spend a substantial amount of time on something right, than on something completely opposite. Our brain has the power to switch involuntarily between rational, logic-based, versus intuitive, feeling-based. Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman states that our brain has two thought layers known as System 1 for fast thinking, i.e. instinctive and impulsive, and System 2 for slow thinking, i.e. critical reasoning. What to focus on to know how to solve a problem. Train your brain to solve problems in 6 remarkable ways. 1. Focus on purpose. Rephrasing personal problems or professional challenges as open-ended questions with multiple possibilities allows to reach solution easily, for e.g. 5W1H who, what, where, when, why, how. 2. Focus on outcomes. There is a saying, begin with an end in mind. This is relevant for many problems that are difficult to solve forward. Hence, identifying the appropriate outcome and taking steps to achieve it is also known as reverse or thinking backwards, for e.g. goal setting or business planning. 2. Focus on mechanics. Critical reasoning helps us to solve a problem. Either use a general, theoretical premises to reach a specific conclusion, or use specific premises to infer a general, logical conclusion, for e.g. scientists form hypothesis versus consultants infer a logic. 3. Focus on connections. Cross-discipline problems created due to ecosystem imbalances, for e.g. fiscal, monetary policy development, geopolitical issues, supply chain roadblocks, or launching a space vehicle pose a challenge laced with several moving parts of a problem. Hence, system thinking may be used to design relationship, influence component functioning and control dependencies between various activities and environments, for e.g. economic development and inequality play for the world in 2030. 5. Focus on perspectives. Many a time, we apply a rule of thumb based on our predetermined assumption to help simplify complex problems. Also known as confirmation bias in psychology. Further, a polar part method views a problem such that a certain definite result would cause it to be proved false for a confirmed bias, for e.g. grandma's prescription to treat cough and cold. 6. Focus on thoughts. What we call as think aloud is a way to challenge the premises of thinking. Hence, verbalizing, rephrasing, or visualizing, charting a problem to find errors in assumptions, for e.g. design thinking. Problems will occur naturally in life. Unfortunately, we all have to deal with problems and hustle our brains in a rational, logical fashion. What is absolutely valuable to us are just 3 perspectives. First, rekindling your question-asking ability from childhood. Second, balancing your bias towards facts or feelings. Third, cultivating a natural tendency to listen actively. And of course, being pragmatic with an open mind. Problem solving is systematic, creative, and analytical approach to transforming challenges for growth, innovation, and competitive advantage. It requires a combination of logical reasoning, emotional intelligence, adaptability, and the courage to challenge existing paradigms.